Here we go. You might have to tighten it up on the sides. Hey guys, welcome to part 7 of our Project Sally Revive and Drive. There's 6 other parts to this series. If you hadn't seen it, we want to invite you to go back and check those out and then come back to this one. So this video was supposed to be our body and paint segment. However, we found a few things that needed to be done. So it's going to be kind of a continuation of our part 6, just doing some small details before we actually get into the paint and body. Should be a fun one. Stick around. All right, so the next, I guess you'd call it loose end, is this tail panel. This is totally separate of the collision repair, but it is a problem and it needs to be dealt with. The 3M tape has just come loose over time. So we'll make a couple reference areas. We're going to pop this off, clean it, and then reinstall it with new tape. All right, right in here. All right. So we got this piece off. We got to clean it. We got to retape it. And then we've got to clean all this, get the residual glue off, and we'll probably put a little bit of wax on this part just to protect it, and we'll be ready for reinstallation. Now we'll prep the bottom of the car and Alright guys, so that was a lot of work. That's a racer wheel. It's actually made to put on your drill. They make them with the die grinders and all. And it's a 2500 max RPM. If you're wondering the part number, it's 03612. Hopefully that'll focus. Sorry about the light guys. It's poor lighting in here, but we're toward the back of the garage and we just don't have a lot of room. So we're going to get this cleaned up and see about getting our part put back on. I'm just going to tape up the areas that our tape's going to stick to. I'm just going to put some wax on this piece here just to protect it. Eventually we'd like to do a detail on this car, wax the whole thing. This car could actually need to be repainted. It's got a lot of nicks and everything. Like I said, it is a 2010, but for the most part we're just trying to get it back on the road now and let Sam enjoy it a little while, and then we'll see what the future holds. It may be something that she really wants to keep, and if that's the case, we will look into doing some more mods and upgrades, and we may even paint it. All right, YouTube, one more task off the list. This piece of black plastic is stuck on there really good now. We ended up doubling it up. It seemed to be the way that it come off, and I think it looks really good now. It's really stuck. So just some odds and ends that we're trying to button up. The front of this car is what's holding us up. It's a little bit of money involved. The headlights are $400. The grills alone are about the same price. Combined, I think the bottom one, I've seen it on eBay for about $100, but this upper grill, she's wanting the pony package, and it's about a $400 grill. I've been trying to find a good used one, but we just haven't had any luck just yet. All right, so when we put this black plexiglass back on the car, one thing that I just couldn't stand was just how bad this taillight looked. This third brake light, it's oxidized pretty good, and the replacements aren't very expensive, so I thought we would just go ahead and replace this part while we were back here, and let's get started. So we got our new part in. This is actually a Dorman reproduction part. The reviews were actually really good on it, and it was actually a lot cheaper than the OEM. So we're going to give it a try, see how it fits. There you go.
This one's harder.
So this Ford just wants to come apart. It's just throwing bolts at us. So this actually fell once we removed the insulation, and not really seeing anywhere that it would go other than maybe for the spoiler. This one's black, just like the one that fell out, but this one over here is silver. So maybe they dropped this one and they just grabbed this one or something. I don't know.
The original owners.
Maybe it was like it at the factory. Oh. So it looks like for this tail lamp, it's just 3 Phillips. Is it Phillips heads? Yep. Shine that light up there where I can see. Yeah, 3 Phillips head screws and 1 plug. So we'll get to taking that out. Every time the previous owner shut the trunk, it's like something's loose in this thing. You know that thing was bouncing around in here, you know? So if any of you guys are wondering what the part number is to that reproduction taillight,
it's the one aftermarket thing that works.
What is it?
The one aftermarket part that has worked.
Yeah, yeah, we haven't had a good run with aftermarket parts with this car. And I was kind of reluctant to try this, but there was one NOS one on eBay, and it was like $100 and some, and this one was $60. So I thought, well, and it was from Amazon, which has really good return policy. So I thought, well, why not? So, but it looks like it fit really well.
It looks really
all right, what an amazing transformation that is. Really looks good. I'm gonna go ahead and hook the battery up real quick, throw the brake light to it, see how it looks. Oh, there it is, yeah. Looks good, Sam.
Okay, are they on right now?
They are now.
Are they on now?
No.
What about now?
Yeah. Hey, Sam. We forgot to put this loose nut back in the trunk. All right, so we cleaned this trunk out a few days ago, and it just had some old wrappers and everything in it. But, you know, there's been some water damage back in here, and also you can see where the threaded stud for the spare tire is coming up through the carpet. So there's been some water damage in this trunk before. Plus, looking at some videos on how to remove the spare tire, I noticed how it went together. And there's a cap missing off of this threaded rod. That actually keeps that rod from coming through the cardboard and the carpet. But this piece just does not fit right. It's got a big gaping hole. Let me bring you in for another look. It's got a big gaping hole here. And like I said, this piece of, I guess you'd call it cardboard or maybe MDF or something, you can see that it's warped really bad. And like I said, we've cleaned it up, but still pieces of it is coming off of the hole there onto the spare tire. And like I mentioned, it just don't fit right. So we had a box arrive in the mail today, and it's a big surprise to Sam. She has no idea what it is. So let's go over there and check it out.
I have a little idea.
You got a little idea.
Yeah, I think I know what it is.
You think you might know now what it is?
Yeah. I don't know, somebody's been wanting me to buy something.
So here's our box that this came in, and to be honest with you, I paid $20 just for this box.
What?
Just to get it here, and with the oversize and everything, I paid a little bit more for shipping than what's in this box, but I got a really good deal.
What?
Yep.
How is that a good deal if you paid more for shipping?
Be careful with that knife. I paid $60 for what's in this box, and then with the box and the shipping, it was $80.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's oversized.
God, they really grew. Where'd you order this from?
Facebook Marketplace. All right, let's see what this is.
What is this?
It's
Is this for the truck?
yeah, it's an extra mat that he had,
That is cool.
this was a bonus. Let's show it.
That's cool.
This here was actually a bonus to buying this, because I was really after a used original. So take that over there and set it down on the lift.
That's awesome.
And right here
I see it.
is the used original. And one of the things that ours don't have, it don't have the pull tab. It don't have these plastic pieces here
In the part on the back.
that goes in to the mating holes on the plastic. So this is the replacement one, and you can see it's got the two dowels coming through the end here, and these should pop into our plastic pieces or just lay into them. There's some cutouts for them. But this original one didn't have that, but it looks like it has the same style board here with the fabric and everything. But that one has clearly had a lot of water in the trunk. And we noticed that when we cleaned the trunk out, the spare tire actually has some rust on the rim. So that was an indication that water had been in that trunk at some point. So we'll have to keep a watch on that because we definitely don't want this messed up. So I'm hoping that this one will actually lay in the trunk a little bit better. We're about to find out.
That's really cool. I like that it has a pony on it.
Yeah, this one fits a lot better.
Yeah, that looks normal.
Yeah, that's, see, we had a huge gaping hole back here, and this is these dowel pins, and they should go right there and right there. Now this, I don't have any support here, and I'll show you what I plan to do for that in a moment. We'll have to dress some of this, but that does look normal. That's exactly what, when I looked at the videos online about how to remove the spare tire, and the only thing I was looking at that for was to see other cars, how they were constructed in this area. And that's when I found out about this pull tab and these dowel pins. So that looks right. So now let's put the other trunk pad over it with the Mustang emblem and see what that's going to look like. You get it?
Yeah.
You have to reach way up in there and pull it up in there. You get it?
Mm-hmm. You can go over a little more. There we go.
So there it is. That looks really good.
Yeah, it does.
And the center of it has no support, but I've got a remedy for that. That's going to look good. That's going to look good. Like I said, this piece was just a bonus because I was really after the factory one, and I needed it to cover up the spare tire, and this was just an extra bonus. So even though the shipping was really high on this, I think it was still a pretty decent deal. So what we plan to do, the factory, just from the videos I watched, they just had like a little push cap that pushed over this, and from best I could tell, maybe it was a 1/2 inch wide or something. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this piece of 14 gauge metal, and I'm going to weld a couple of these M8s by 1 1/4 nuts that thread on to this, and essentially just make my own. So we'll weld this on here, and then this will be, we'll cut this 14 gauge metal to be round as big as this washer. And what we'll do, we'll also take some of this small 1/4 inch rod, and I'll weld 2 handles on it, and that way we'll have a handle that we can use it as a spinner. And we'll spin it down, we'll get it set with the right height, with a level. That way it's just, I want it just a little bit proud, and that way it's has some stability for the trunk, for whatever you put in the trunk. So that's the plan. We'll make our own little protector there. We'll bring you along and we'll show you how we do it. We'll throw a little overkill at it and we'll call it better than factory. Here we go. You might have to tighten it up on the sides. They don't really stay up that easy. All right guys, the next thing we've got to do is protect that new trunk mat that we bought. And to do that, we're going to make basically a plate that threads onto the rod that basically will act as a protector to keep this rod from pushing up through that MDF board. So we're going to come up with this, just weld it. It'll be Sam's first time welding, and we'll bring you along. It's working. It's working. All right, let's do it. I'm going to just gonna throw some packs on this thing. You ready? You ready?
Ooh, it's scary.
You know what?
Lights turned off.
Yeah. Got to turn the gas on.
What just happened?
Huh?
What just happened?
I forgot to turn the gas on.
So why'd the lights turn off?
It's auto darkening.
What, our masks?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
cool.
It goes dark, so it protects your eyes. Alright, here we go. Let's try this again. I'm just trying to get it dialed in.
Am I gonna get burned?
Huh?
Am I gonna get burned?
Alright.
Well, I don't want to get burned.
I'm gonna burn it just a second.
That just fall on you.
Huh?
Did that just fall?
Yeah.
Or did you do that?
You kind of set it loose for when you weld and you get where you want and you go like this. But really with these helmets here, you don't really need to. You can see so good out of them, you know?
Yeah.
Right here is what we got so far. Just some nuts welded to some washers. And we're going to go ahead and put 2/4 inch bars on here and use them as a spinner. And we'll grind it, dress it, bring you guys back, show you what it looks like. Alright guys, that's a wrap for tonight. We'll be back out here working on this little piece again tomorrow. It's turning out pretty good. We got to dress the ends here, and I will have to re-weld this piece here. We had some equipment issues. You can see how good this looks, and this I thought I was out of gas. Actually we had plenty of C25, but the only problem with it is our miller kind of bit the dust. It's got gas, it's putting the gas out, but it's somewhere along in the inside of the unit, the gas is not making its way to the nozzle. So you can hear the gas coming through, but it's definitely not coming through the torch. So we'll have to figure out what's happened there. So we've had to pretty much stop for the evening. It is getting kind of late anyway, but we'll figure out what's wrong with the welder. We'll get back to it, and we'll bring you back, show you what we got.
Is it a Miller?
I called it a Miller?
Mm-hmm.
It's red, it's a Lincoln.
You said Miller.
I was thinking we might have to get the Miller out. We may have to get the Miller out to finish this job. We've got a Miller in the other side of the garage. But we'll figure out what's wrong with this Lincoln, and we'll be back. I said Lincoln that time.
You said Lincoln.
Alright guys, so it's been a few days. The welder actually ended up turning out to be an easy fix. All it was just realigning the torch. It must have got jarred when I moved it from the other bay over to this one. But we went ahead and we finished our little spinner piece here, and actually finished it all the way out, and did some powder coating to it. We powder coated it bright safety yellow, and that way in case you got it laying on the side of the road, you're changing the spare tire, it sticks out and you won't forget it. But we're going to go ahead and get this installed in the back, and we'll see how it works. Alright guys, so I got you really zoomed in here looking inside the trunk, and you can see the new trunk mat that we've already put in. And if you remember, it's got some bounce to it. There's no support on this one piece of particle board that's underneath here. So that's what we're going to work on, and see how this spinner turns out. Just trying to keep myself from cutting too much off of this rod.
Yeah.
Here, I'm sticking up on something. Alright guys, so we made one more cut, took off another 1/8. Probably should have just cut it at the 3/4, but I believe this is going to work. And I've already tested it here on our little spinner. We're good to go. Alright guys, so we got the aftermarket trunk mat back in the car, and with the new spinner attached, you can see this area here is really firm. All the way basically around this whole center section. There is a little bit of give over here in the between the spinner and the frame rail on both sides, but not much. And like I said, if you put something pretty good size in the trunk now, it is going to be supported. Also, it's going to serve the purpose for protecting the original Ford mat as well as our new aftermarket mat to keep that threaded rod from actually busting up through like the original one was. Ford only had a real small plastic cap that just pushed over the threads, and you know, ours was long gone, so that's one of the reasons. We still got to keep a watch on this trunk to make sure once we get this car outside that we're not getting any water in it, because we definitely don't want none of this to ruin basically after we've done all this hard work. But I like the way the spinner turned out, and I think it's going to be a good addition to Project Sally. So we thought we were done with the interior, but one item that I just could not stand was this mirror. And I don't know if Sam can get real close and just show you how hammered this mirror is. I mean, it's pretty rough. So we got a replacement. This is actually a Ford mirror, and these are just plain Jane mirrors. There's nothing special about these mirrors, but you can see just this one's new versus this one. I've seen a lot of old cars, but this car's not that old, and this mirror is pretty rough. And I just couldn't leave it in that interior. So we're going to go ahead and change this out. There's some videos on YouTube on how to remove this. It's actually got a springed clip, and you actually take a screwdriver and you actually pry it off of there. It's kind of sketchy because you're messing with the glass. I was a bit nervous, and now we got to try to put this new one on. I think it just slips over the top and then locks in place, but we're getting ready to find out. The video showed you how to take it off. It didn't say nothing about putting it back on. About got it.
It's not.
Like to me, it needs to slide on. But no, it's only gonna go so far, Sam.
Yeah.
Because it's in a groove. It's only going to go down so far. It's not going to seat. I think that's it.
It just didn't do it easily, but I mean, I think it's on there pretty good.
Oh, it's on there.
Oh yeah. Oy.
Slide back over, but it's a tight fit. You're messing with glass, it just makes me nervous. But yeah, I think that's it. Because it's not going to slide all the way and seat. It's not going to seat directly up against the glass, because this part that it slides on is tapered.
Yeah.
It's tapered, so it's only going to go down so far.
Timber?
Tapered. Comes in at an angle. That's it. That's where it's at.
This seems
Yeah, I think you're right. It goes It's for like if somebody's bright lighting you. Like,
You flip it.
yeah, now the high dollar cars, they got auto dimming and everything. This is just
The Buey has that. Buey has that.
auto
I use it
dimming.
occasionally.
Buey's manual like this one.
Yeah, it's manual. I didn't realize that was a thing until I see a video on it.
Yeah, but now my truck, my old truck used to do it automatically. It would turn dark.
Your old truck had like the temperature and everything.
Yeah, it was professional.
I'm very picky with what I see in my mirror.
You are?
Yeah. It takes me a little bit.
You know what I do?
What?
I just rip that mirror off because what's behind you is not important.
Was that on Talladega Nights?
Cannonball Run. Actually, I think it's Cannonball Run Part 2. All right, guys, so we got the new mirror installed, and this is kind of a first for me. It's got that spring on it, and the piece is actually tapered, so it's not going to seat right over the whole bracket there, but it does lock onto it. And I got that thing on there pretty tight, probably tighter than I should have, but it definitely ain't going nowhere. And who knows, maybe one day Miss Sammy will want to upgrade it to maybe a camera or something for
the Infinity one?
backup camera or something like that. But for now, we was just trying to replace that old hammered out original one. What?
This list is longer than a few months ago, before we made all this progress.
That's the way it goes sometimes. Sometimes it gets worse before it gets better. Especially when you're dealing with FORD. Alright guys, so here is our seat covers that kind of did a respray on. They turned out really good. And they're not perfect. They still got some scratches that showed up in them, but for the most part they're 100 times better than what we started with. So we're going to go ahead and get these in the car. Alright, go ahead and roll it up. I don't know how much battery we got.
All the way up?
Yep, we got to get to the back. So what an aggravating task. We got one of them in. This side right here doesn't want to go. We're going over to the other side to see how that goes. The one that I got in had to slip underneath the track.
Okay. I know
That
this.
little recessed area, it's got to go underneath the track. And then it just pushes forward and locks in. There it is. So that's how it does. Get it?
Yeah.
I heard it lock.
Maybe you were just not pushing hard enough.
There you go. You almost got it. There it is.
There we go. Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah, we got it.
Alright, so there's them two.
Okay.
So go ahead and put your seat
There's
back.
your side. I know you like doing this stuff too, even if it isn't.
That's going to be hard to do. The whole piece is going to have to go down. I may have it. Can't tell if it locked or not. I think it did. Yeah.
Click.
Yeah, there's that one. Alright, so don't that look so much better?
Yes.
Little aggravating things is what they are. Alright, let me set this seat back. So we was a little worried, but in the seats, these clips was already pushed in and broke off. But then we remembered that these were the new seats, so whoever took the covers off of the new seats broke them. Luckily ours wasn't broke. Alright, so we're working on getting these lift points installed on the Mustang. We already got the driver's side done, and this is the front driver's side. You can see how they tuck up between the rocker panel molding. Right there is the rear driver's side. We've got one more left to do on the passenger side, and Sam's working on it right now.
How do you make it look so easy? How'd you make it look so easy? It's not.
What's the problem?
It's just not as easy as you made it look.
Huh?
It's just not as easy as you made it look.
It's always easier when you watch somebody else do it.
Should be pretty snug.
All right, let me double check it. All right, guys, so those lift points are gonna come in very handy when we get to using this scissor lift behind us. And these newer cars are pretty difficult to jack up as it is, so we highly recommend them. We can't wait to try them out. Our next project is updating these Fender emblems. We've got the new script style 4.0, and we also got a new horse badge. All right, so you can see here, these 4.0 emblems are in pretty rough shape. The red's faded. The actual horse emblem is in real bad shape. All the colors come out of it. We've got a slightly different one of these, and we're going to remove this piece first, clean it up, put it on so we don't really lose our reference, and then we'll remove this part. So you're going to operate the heat gun.
Okay.
Don't get it, don't get it too hot.
So he's
Yeah, if you get it too hot, go ahead and put it on low. Tell you what, put it on low. Let me kind of warm up the whole thing. All right, hold it back there. Just hold some heat on it.
There's all the sticky residue. How do we get that off?
Same way with that rear. So there's the original 4.0 emblem, and here is the new one that we're going back with. Now we got to clean that fender off. We're going to use the eraser wheel and some wax and grease remover. Get it ready for the new 3M tape.
What the heck?
lot better. Ain't done. It's probably alright. Should have held it up there first. Alright. What do you think? Looks great. That looks great. And you'll fix it now, I think. Right there. Let me get a little closer. That 4.0 was loud.
Huh?
You can get a little closer with the heat. Put your hand on it. You won't burn it.
I got it pretty hot up here, just not down here. Yeah, that's warm.
Alright guys, right here is the look. And I gotta say, I like the updated 4.0 emblems. And I like the black on the pony. So the hard part will be, we'll make a template of what we did on this side, and then we'll match the other side with what we did over here. We still got to paint that fender, so we can't put those on until after we're done with the body work. Alright guys, a lot of loose ends tied up here in part 7. And part 8, we will be fixing this fender and starting to prep some front end parts, so we will actually get to our body work. Getting down to the wire, Sam's looking forward to getting this thing on the road and seeing how it does. And we're going to give you a sneak peek of some of the work that's to come in part 8. So how about that? The front bumper is off, and we've actually already started work on that fender repair from a previous accident. It was a shopping cart.
Something like that, buggy shopping cart holder.
Okay. Something hit it in a parking lot, but we've already started repairing that. So you want to stay tuned for that. Also, be sure to check out some of the other videos on this project. There's 6 other videos at this point. And be sure to subscribe and leave us a comment. Tell us what you think. I want to thank all of you. We'll catch you next time.